I think they're the worst team in Texas. I think they're the worst team in Texas.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree.
That's crazy. Okay. Oh my
Ox, how good do you think Fred VanVleet is, Ox?
I think Fred VanVleet is a really good basketball player. I don't know what you mean by that. How do you want me to
let me rephrase the question.
You said they were going to have problems, or that they had problems with Fred VanVleet, and they're still going to have those problems. Albeit worse, but they still had problems with Fred VanVleet. The Houston Rockets, we've talked a lot about them this offseason. I feel like they've been the talk of the offseason, just with the acquisition of Kevin Durant and just how they played last regular season, how they looked in the playoffs. They got a lot of young talent. But what are our thoughts and expectations on the team that came number 2 in the West last year, the team that won this division last year, and the team that I think we all believe they may have got better from last year?
No.
How do we feel about them? How, Ox?
High.
They got.
How did they get worse?
They got worse as soon as they lost Fred VanVleet. Before they lost Fred, I think they stayed around the same. I think they got better at some things, took a step back at some things. But once you lose Fred VanVleet, they got worse. I don't think we can even debate that. I don't think there's really any reason to think that they didn't get worse once you lose your lead. Or
they did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when you lose your table setter, you lose everything. They lost a big threat. It's like, now we're just gonna we're gonna cross half court, just give it to KD and just watch.
Fred wasn't setting the table like that. Like anybody could wash the forks and the knives and put them on the table. It's not like he was putting the fancy cutlery and the nice and folding the napkins all nice and doing all of that. But no.
Washing forks is strenuous. I'd much rather wash plates. Trust me. You know how much silverware I used to leave in the sink.
I mean, people say washing forks don't mean nothing until they eat them with dirty cutlery. So I don't know.
Facts. Thank you.
So now they're gonna have dirty silverware now?
Dirty ass.
I just followed your analogy.
I'm saying, like, Fred wasn't even putting a tablecloth on the table.
I think Fred was. I was critical of Fred for many reasons, but one thing that
very critical of him
can't be ignored. Absolutely, because his scoring is egregious. But one thing that can't be taken away from him is how impactful he was for Houston. Now, do I think he's a perfect player? No, not even close. Do I think he's an all-star caliber player? No, not even close. Do I think he's even close to the caliber of player that KD and Şengün are? No. But do I think his importance for what Houston aimed to achieve is unquestionable? Yes. I think there's a reason Ime Udoka, no matter how Fred was shooting, 1 for 8, 1 for 12, 0 for 9, whatever,
on the floor.
Fred is closing games. And it would annoy me at the time. Fred was still closing games. I'm watching this guy shoot like a criminal, and he's still out there closing games. But then that was the bias fan in me from the Houston Rockets, just preying on the Jalen Green ascension. So I was mad. But now, as just a spectator, taking a step back, Fred is extremely important for everything they look to do. Extremely high IQ defender, very competent ball handler. Not someone who's going to amaze you like he's Kyrie, but he has the ball in his hands a lot and doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Very valuable. Gets the ball where it needs to go with regularity and to a degree that no one on the roster could do last year. You replace Fred VanVleet with Reed Shepherd, who hasn't shown he can do that yet. You're now hoping that he can do that in year 2. With Amen Thompson, who hasn't shown he can do that with consistency yet. You're now hoping he can do that in year 2. Do I think they're a better team than they were last year? Yes. I think when you add a top 10 player and all you've lost is Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big deal. Dylan Brooks is very important. But before Fred VanVleet went down, I think they were undoubtedly better than they were last year. Now that Fred VanVleet is gone, I think they're still better than they were last year. And I think they'll still be a really good regular season team.
Yeah.
But I do think their ceiling in the playoffs is mightily lower. When they first got KD, I thought they had championship aspirations. I didn't think they were going to beat OKC, but I thought they were the second or third best team in the West, them and Denver. I didn't know. Now, no Fred, playoff setting, they're a very distant third at best. At best, they're a very distant third. I think they're very clearly worse than Denver, very clearly worse than OKC. If I'm at my most optimistic, they're the third best team in the West, whereas before they were the second best team, then they could have challenged OKC and made it difficult. So that's where it is for me. But I think they're guaranteed to make the playoffs regardless. KD could play 55 games, and I think they'll be a playoff team. Like I think
Clippers, Lakers.
Regular season.
But why are we acting?
The Clippers are a team that I can see being better than the Rockets too in the playoffs in particular.
Why are we acting like today in today's basketball you actually need a true point guard like it's 1996? Like
I think the Rockets
you need someone to bring the ball past half court. That is absolutely it. Why can't Why can't
Such
Shingun?
as?
You got 5 players that can do it on the Rockets.
Like who?
And
Alperen Sengun can bring the ball up and pass half court. If you're not watching,
which he does that
Easily.
anyway. He
Okay,
does
so-
that anyway.
So to my
Keep
point,
going.
Chill, the point I was getting to is that why can't you get him run point center? Why can't you run offense through him? Top of the key, let him do whatever. Because he'll make that 18-footer if you don't respect it. Now they're playing big with Steven Adams down there. I think Clint Capella was a huge pickup for the backside. You know what I mean? For them defensively as well. You mean Tara Easton can bring the ball up. Obviously, KD can bring the ball up. Thompson can bring the ball. I mean, I don't need to go through their entire roster because I want to.
But where's all the shooting that you were just so high about with Dallas? Where's all the shooting?
The last guy that he was about to mention that can bring the ball up.
KD.
Who? Reed Shepard?
No. Yes.
And Sengun.
If you forget, Reed was meant to be a point guard with Rob Dillingham. It's just he shot the ball so damn well, and we gotta just put you to at the 2 guard. He is actually a point guard.
Yeah, I'm cool with all that, but I want to know where
men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Well, the numbers
what numbers are we talking about?
Numbers say Reed Shepard is a sniper. Hey, Reed Shepard is
I mean, no,
sniper.
I'm cool with that. Like, yeah, Reed Shepard could be a sniper. That's fine. But Klay Thompson's a sniper.
Still, I'm losing what you're trying to tell me. Because you're agreeing
because just with the last team, you were concerned about the shooting. So I'm like,
I know. I said I was concerned about the shooting if you're going to take Klay off the court because you remember Ron didn't have him on the court. So I said, how are you going to have him not on the court? You need a shooter. So you got KD who can shoot. You got Sengun who can shoot. You got Reed who can shoot. I mean, that's more. That's 2 more than Dallas already.
Mars, I know how you feel about the pull-up 3. I do. According to the numbers, right, Mars? I do know how you feel about the pull-up 3. But I'm waiting for December. I'm waiting for January when we have conversations about the Houston Rockets and they're comfortably sitting in the number 3 spot, maybe a game or 2 out the 2 spot, and Amin Thompson has the ball at the lead guard spot, and it's looking like I thought it was gonna look. They're running the
ball
offense
in the 3rd and 4th row.
Even if he's
going to turn the ball over. Yeah, he's going to.
That's part of it. That's part of it. But we know I'm confident with Sengun as their hub, operating at the mid post, operating at the elbow, operating on the box. I think this could work. I said this earlier that I'm not sure the dynamic between him and KD because he never played with a scorer like that. And I wasn't sure, but KD is so, the word I'm looking for is portable. And, you could just put KD in any lineup. We know what KD does, and he doesn't really affect offenses that much because you know what he's here for. I'm a bucket getter. That's what I do, right? So you don't really have to change up a lot of stuff that you're doing. So they could still run a lot of the stuff that they run, just add KD in as a bucket getter, and it'll still work. But with that being said, I know your concerns about the lead guard spot. And to L point, it ain't John Stockton ain't coming. John Stockton's not coming back. Mark Price is not coming back. Right? Magic Johnson is not coming back. As much as I miss those guys, as much as I love them, they're not coming back. And this offense in Houston is going to be predicated on Sengun being the hub. I think Amin Thompson's going to be your primary ball handler. I think Reed Shepard is going to play off of him. I think the thing that's never going to go away with this Houston team is their defense. So they're still going to play fast. They're still going to get buckets in transition. And then when we get in the half court, Amin Thompson, they're going to dump the ball into Sengun, whether it's like I said, whether it's at the elbow, whether it's on the block, and they're going to operate through him. And I think this offense is going to be better.
In theory, that sounds really good, Chill. That sounds really good in theory. But
that's not in theory, Ox. That's what they're going to do.
It is in theory. It is in theory because it ain't happened yet, and it ain't gonna happen. Because once they slow that ball down, like how you said, once they get into that half court, they're gonna have the same problems they had last year. Yeah. Actually, they're gonna have even worse problems than they had last year because they don't have the table setter that they need. I understand that y'all want to go away from the lead guard, the point guard thing. Y'all don't want to say the point guard word. It's taboo, but you need that still in basketball. When you get into that half court, they're just gonna all eyes on Kevin Durant. Sengun is not Jokic, okay? Sengun is not Jokic. I know y'all want him to be. I know he had a great summer. Shout out to the kid; he's a great basketball player.
Sure.
But when they get into that half court setting, it's going to be some of the worst offense in the NBA, even with Kevin Durant. Y'all said you're going to get better because of Kevin Durant. The Suns got Kevin Durant and got worse.
I want to bet. I want to bet my dinner on that. I need to bet dinner on that one because that's crazy. Because KD.
Right quick. While y'all figure that out, just think that through right quick. And in the meantime, I need you guys to rethink how you guys are listening to the show every day. I know some of you guys maybe watch on your TV, some watch on your tablet, most watch on your phone, but how are you actually hearing us? Because I think you guys are listening, but I don't think you're hearing us correctly. I don't think you're hearing me. And so here's how I need you to hear me from here on out. I need you to go to the Raycon website, use code PCS, you will get 20% off. And when you do this, you will get active noise cancellation, you will get multi-point connectivity, and you will get up to 32 hours of battery life with the Raycon Everyday Earbud Classics. Now, we all use them up here. Some of us have the mint green, some of us have the black, black color though, and some of us have the pink colors. But however, whatever ones you're using, or the blue, shout out to Royal Blue, whatever ones you're using, you know that you will get active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity, and ultimately you will be able to just hear much, much, much better than what you're actively using. So go ahead and change like the seasons and upgrade your life. Right here, when you use code PCS, you will get 20% off on the Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classics. Salute to them, salute to us, and salute to everybody that's getting that 20% off.
Yes, sir. You see it.
What you rocking with, Ox? What you rocking with, Marsh? Okay. Maybe not L Blacks.
Mine ain't coming to mail yet.
They on the way. They on the way.
Everybody sharing them out.
We gotta get him a plate. Yeah, he just got here. We gotta get him.
Yo, so y'all was about to make a bet. What?
Absolutely. We gonna make a bet because listen, just from a strictly basketball skill set perspective, when you have individuals who can do multiple things on the court, the offense is going to work. Okay, so
like
if you just do a KD and Albertson can run a pick and roll, and everything else is gonna figure itself out. You put Min Thompson in the dunker spot. What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna help off?
They don't have Draymond Green. They don't have Jokic. Like Sengun is not Jokic. I mean,
he can make a bounce pass. You're making it seem like this man can't make a bounce pass. If you sag, he's gonna shoot that little baby floater. Is going to go into the basket. This boy can score. And
we're living with that.
If you step, all right.
Just like last year, there was a lid on the rim for Sengun. Did y'all forget the lid that was on that rim for him last season?
And then we forgot about Jabari Smith.
You got to project that his touch going to come back.
You forgot about Jabari Smith Jr. too. You forgot all about him. I
most certainly did not.
He can stretch the floor. He shot 46% in the playoffs last year, so he can stretch the floor.
He was banging that three for sure.
So all I'm saying is,
what that do? That made him lose to the geriatric Warriors.
I mean, the Warriors was like that.
Yeah, that was reasons beyond Jabari.
Well beyond that.
They replaced their biggest problem in that series with Kevin Durant. So I mean,
okay, look, what I'm saying is all this can be true. All this can be true. Without Fred VanVleet, this team just went down the shitter.
I can get you. So
that's where I'm.
What do you mean by that? Like, because
that's where the divide is with
winning
me.
A championship with Fred, I don't think you did either. I still don't have them winning a championship without Fred. But are you saying like they're going to be in the play-in? Are you saying they're going to be in the playoffs but lose in the first round again? Are you saying they're going to get to the second round and lose? Like when you say like the season is basically a write-off, like what do you mean by that?
That's what it sounds like to me. Like
what I'm saying is I think they're the worst team in Texas. I think they're the worst team in Texas.
I disagree.
That's crazy. Okay. Oh my
Ox, how good do you think Fred VanVleet is, Ox?
I think Fred VanVleet is a really good basketball player. I don't know what you mean by that. How do you want me to
let me rephrase the question.
You said they were going to have problems, or that they had problems with Fred VanVleet, and they're still going to have those problems. Albeit worse, but they still had problems with Fred VanVleet.
Right, but their problems got a lot worse without Fred VanVleet. My thing is, I like this team with Fred VanVleet. I like the squad. I do, but I didn't have them. To Mark's point, I didn't have them win the championship with Fred. So without Fred, I think with Fred, I thought they were still going to be, maybe a 4 or 5 seed. Without Fred,
My thing,
They're
Ox,
not
is
even-
like,
they're out the way now.
so I can understand your point when it comes to the Mavs. No Kyrie. All right, I can see how you can see them falling off from the first or second seed all the way down to 7 or 8. With the Rockets, like, yes, they lose a savvy vet. They lose defense. I understand that. But like with their personnel and with Houston also being one of the deepest teams in the league, I think that they can fill in for Fred. Like, it's like, for instance, I'm gonna go with quarterbacks. You're not replacing Tom Brady. You don't have to replace Tom Brady. He's not that level of quarterback or point guard. You're replacing
You ain't even replacing Dak
Phillip
Prescott.
Rivers.
Yeah, be cool about Philip.
All right, my bad, because I know you're sensitive about Phillip Rivers. You're replacing Bo Nix.
Look, Ron. Okay, forget all that. We don't got to make analogies. We don't got to make analogies and all that. Let's just talk straight ball. When it's a 3-point game, 3 minutes left. Who's making these late game decisions? Who is their floor general? Who is getting everything going? Amin Thompson? I don't got him in. I don't. I think Amin is a really good basketball player, but to fill in for Fred VanVleet in the meat and potatoes of the game or whatever y'all want to call it, it's not. Kevin Durant. I know y'all in the chat are like, but they got KD. That's not the point. Like, KD is an amazing basketball player. He's still great. He's still a top 12 basketball player in the NBA, no doubt about it. But that's not gonna win basketball games. That's not how you win it. You got to be able to in close games when it slows down, when Amin Thompson can't get out and run, when Tari Eason and Amin can't rely on just being dogs and taking the ball, getting steals, and getting out and running. When you can't rely on that, then you got to rely on Reed and Amin Thompson to get the offense moving in the half court. They don't have that. I don't know why y'all are ignoring that how important that is. That is,
but we're not.
important.
It's not that we're. It's not that we're. Keep going. Keep going.
I think you guys are trying to overlook that because you're trying to say, oh, well, we can get into a pick and roll with Kevin Durant and Sengun, like coaches with great defenses can't scheme against that.
So what happens?
I'm optimistic.
Go ahead, Chill. Go ahead.
What I'm optimistic about is I'm optimistic about the improvement of my young guys. That's what I'm optimistic about. I'm optimistic about the fact that Sengun. I'm optimistic about the fact that Amin Thompson is going to be better. I'm optimistic about the fact that Reed Shepherd is going to be better.
Thompson going to be better at what, Chill?
Amin Thompson is going to be better at being a better ball handler. Being a better ball
what
handler.
part of basketball?
Being a lead guard, being a better ball handler.
He didn't know he was potentially going to have to be a lead guard until just last Tuesday.
Okay,
so
you don't think that was something?
Like, you know what? I got this.
So even with that being said, you don't think that was something that I was working on in the offseason? I was working on my ball.
I don't know. I can't assume.
You think that I was just working on being a better transition player and being a better defender? No, I'm gonna.
How do you work on processing the game? I just seen somebody said
watching
processing,
tape, doing homework, watching tape.
You have to do it on the court. That's something that you get better at playing the plane. So yeah, Amin Thompson might become better at that after he has 3-4 months of throwing turnovers in the NBA.
That helps him though. That helps him.
It helps them while they're losing, right?
Yeah, and that's okay. Look, I turn the ball over in December, November, October. Get a little better in January, February, and March, and when April come around, you ready to rock. Also, too, though,
it's still different in the playoffs, though. Like you can
it is
in the regular season, and then the playoffs is still a whole different ballgame. Like what's the men gonna do when they see OKC in the playoffs?
He was good last year in the playoffs.
He was good last year in the playoffs.
It was shaky. It was shaky.
He struggled the first 2 or 3 games.
He did.
He picked up as the series went on.
Right.
He never been to playoffs before. Of course, he's gonna struggle in the beginning. That's
of course. I'm not arguing against that. But what I'm saying is, we're in a league now where pickup points are getting higher. Ball pressure is becoming more of a thing, and now we're asking someone who has a shaky handle to initiate against playoff defenses that are going to be pressing.
Who said? I'm just asking a question. Did Ime come out and literally have a press conference and say, Amin Thompson is going to bring the ball up the court every single possession?
We're doing it by committee.
Thank you. Because if he didn't say that, then I don't want to hear it. So, Ox, really quick to your point.
No one takes the ball up every possession. Fred didn't bring the ball up every possession.
That's my point, though. So then the pressure is irrelevant then. Because if he's getting pressure, give the ball to
no one on the roster can deal with ball pressure consistently.
Who's pressuring
Well,
Şengün?
they don't-
I'm trying to say, what center is pressuring full court?
It
Tell me
doesn't
one.
need to be a center. They don't need to guard Şengün with a center because they're going to run double bigs a lot. So Şengün's
then,
probably going to
I'm
be
just-
guarded
I'm
by a
just saying-
4.
But well, whoever is the 5 is because you could play Jabari Smith at the 4, and you push again
But
at the 5.
they run double big a lot. That's their biggest advantage. They're going to have Steven
But
Adams
I'm
and
just
Şengün,
saying.
or
So,
Capella
real
and
quick,
Şengün,
let me
whatever.
knock out.
And Jabari definitely can't handle ball pressure, so he can't bring the ball up.
I mean, I'm trying to
Jabari
outside of
like what
outside
exactly
of
are these
OKC,
dudes
Jabari
working
Houston
on?
can't handle ball pressure. It's not about working.
What-
It's about you can
what do
work
we
with
have?
things as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're not going to just be elite at something because you worked on it over the summer. That's
But
not
I am
gonna
going to be
work.
better
And
too,
then
though,
from-
Mars. I'm not going to
That's
be the
fine, but
same
we're
guy
not
that I
talking
was
about-
last
we're
season.
talking about being better to the degree of competing in
Sure.
the playoffs. We're not talking about being better.
Absolutely.
Oh, Amen Thompson improved. Cool, but is that enough to beat OKC? No, like it's not about just
Well,
being.
there's
being
nobody
better
up
than
here
you were
that
last
says
year.
that-
That's the
there's
goal
none of us up
individually,
here-
but we're talking about being better to compete in the playoffs. Do I agree with Ots that they're the worst team in Texas? No, I think they're very comfortably better than the Spurs. I think in the regular season they're going to be better than Dallas. Playoffs, I don't know, but I think they're very comfortably at least the second best team in Texas. I don't agree with Ots, but I think the issues that he raises with the roster are very valid, especially in the playoff setting. In the regular season, they're going to win games off defense and rebounding. I don't doubt that. That's why I think they're going to make the playoffs regardless. If they rebound more than you and they run and they play defense the way they do, they're going to make the playoffs off that alone. Plus KD, half-court scorer, cool. I believe in that. In the playoffs, when you come up against an OKC team that presses the ball to the degree that they do, when you come up against a team like Denver that runs the offense that they do, and then defensively you're not putting pressure on them because you don't have consistent ball handlers who are able to create from the perimeter under duress, that's a problem. I watched Kevin Durant 2 years ago struggle against Aaron Gordon. Defensively, Aaron Gordon pressuring, I watched him struggle. He's now 2 years older without a Devin Booker by his side, without someone who can take that pressure, that burden of ball handling away from him. Kevin Durant's handle is one of the biggest things that has declined as he has aged. That's the one of the biggest things that's declined. We're now putting him on a roster where I could argue Kevin Durant is their best ball handler. I could genuinely make that argument.
In the half court.
Yes, I could absolutely make the argument that Kevin Durant is the Houston Rockets' best half-court ball handler.
Now,
that is a concern. Kevin Durant is
100%.
turnover. Kevin Durant struggles under
but
physicality. Kevin Durant struggles when he's being pressured. And we're saying he's the best ball handler on the team.
But why are we
I just watched
struggling?
him play a preseason game against Atlanta. He was struggling with turnovers. I'm not saying that's the be-all end-all, but what I am saying is this is a guy who in the first 2 years of his career, he's a young player. I agree he's going to get better. In the first 2 years of his career, he has struggled to create in the half court downhill. He doesn't command attention outside of 14 feet. So people are going under ball screens. His handle is not great. He picks up his dribble a lot. He gets poked a lot. He doesn't have the ability to maneuver in traffic. And we're asking him to accelerate that process. That's tough. Reed Shepherd is someone who struggled with aggression last year. Do I think Reed Shepherd can handle the ball? Yes. But do I think Reed Shepherd can see amongst the trees? Do I think Reed Shepherd can handle blitzes in pick and roll, especially when that blitz comes from a Lou Dort and Chet Holmgren? No. Do I think Reed Shepherd can handle a blitz when it's Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis? No. But these are the teams that they're going to have to see in the playoffs. So if we're saying regular season team, I think Houston are going to be just fine. There are going to be issues. There's going to be growing pains. They're not going to be perfect. But I think they're going to be just fine. Top 4 seed, pretty much guaranteed, in my opinion. The Ox might disagree with that, but in my opinion, pretty much guaranteed top 4 seed. But in the playoffs, when you have to see an OKC, when you have to see a Warriors team that they already struggled to create against last year, a Warriors team, a Dallas team, whichever team you want to throw out there, a Spurs team if you manage to see them. These issues are going to come up. Like the Clippers, Chris Dunn, Zoo, pressuring Reed Shepherd. Are we serious? Like, that's a major concern. Like, that's a valid concern when it comes to winning in the playoffs. And that's my whole issue with this team, winning in the playoffs. Because they don't care about regular season wins. KD's not there to go rack up 50 wins in the regular season. Ime Udoka is not there to go be a top 3 seed again. We know they're there to try and win a championship. And with the flaws on this roster, I think all of you guys agree. Not only are they not winning a championship because of the presence of OKC, but these are very valid concerns to have in the playoffs.
Absolutely. No doubt about no doubt about that. But L, to your point, this team offensively, to your point about Amen Thompson being that ball handler, I think it's going to improve. There's none of us up here to think that, because what you're arguing against, Moss, is this team going deep into the playoffs. And I don't think that there's anybody up here that thinks that the Houston Rockets, with what they have presently offensively in terms of ball handlers, are going deep into the playoffs. I'd be surprised if they was in the
playoffs with Fred.
To be honest with you, I think that they would be a little bit better, but I don't think that they would be that much better. right? Because I think that they could get a first round matchup running up on Dallas. They could get a first round matchup running up on a team like the Clippers or the Lakers, and they could get bounced early. However, I also think that they could get a favorable matchup where, like we talked about last year, if they had a high seed and they ended up seeing somebody like Memphis early or San Antonio, and they could beat them just off the strength of how good they are defensively. With that being said, I think that with the credit that I give to Amin Thompson, I understand your issues with him as a ball handler. I always look at guys and I look at the improvement that they've made from year to year. I'm not quick to jump on a guy and go, okay, we're trying to get to championship level. KD does add that narrative to this crew, but I don't think that there's any of us up here that think that this crew, even if KD wasn't on the crew and they still had Jalen Green, if they still had Dylan Brooks, and they still had their point guard, that they could win the NBA championship. Even if they did, and even with the improvement of Amin Thompson, who I think is going to be so much better as a ball handler than he was in his rookie season, than he was in his second year. I think he's going to be so much better than that. And when we get to the half court, like I said before, I don't think that we're going to have a primary ball handler like Chris Paul. We're going to run our offense through our hub, and that's going to be Sengun. And that's the primary ball handler that we're going to have. I mean, that's not the primary ball handler. I'm sorry. That's the hub that we're going to have. And I think that he settles us down. And the action that we're going to have is going to involve KD a lot.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. The player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.